In recent months, India has witnessed a surge of concern and controversy centered around the treatment of Bengali-speaking Muslim migrant workers from West Bengal. Reports from human rights organizations, journalists, and political leaders highlight a troubling pattern. In several BJP-ruled states, including Maharashtra, Gujarat, Odisha, and Rajasthan, authorities have detained, scrutinized, and in some cases deported individuals on suspicion that they are illegal Bangladeshi immigrants. These developments have reignited debates over identity, citizenship, and the rights of internal migrants in the world's largest democracy. The latest wave of detentions began earlier this year. In Odisha's Jharsuguda district, more than 400 Bengali-speaking workers were rounded up in a sudden sweep. Many had been employed in local factories, construction sites, or as daily wage laborers, jobs that attract workers from across eastern India due to limited opportunities at home. Of the 444 detained, 277 were released after their documentation was verified. But the fact that so many were held in the first place, despite possessing Indian identification papers, has raised alarms about the criteria being used to differentiate citizens from alleged foreigners. Similar incidents have unfolded in Maharashtra. At least 7 Bengali-speaking Muslim workers were detained and expelled to Bangladesh, only to return after intervention by the West Bengal government, which confirmed their citizenship and demanded their immediate release. These are not isolated cases. Across BJP-ruled states, local media and human rights monitors have documented a steady stream of arrests and detentions targeting Bengali-speaking Muslims, often with little evidence beyond language, appearance, or religious identity. The Indian government has yet to release official figures on the number of such deportations or detentions. However, the pattern appears to be intensifying, especially as several key state elections approach. Human Rights Watch and other organizations have condemned the actions, noting that they appear to violate both Indian constitutional principles and international law. Elaine Pearson, Asia Director at Human Rights Watch, has been outspoken, stating, "The Indian government is putting thousands of vulnerable people at risk in apparent pursuit of unauthorized immigrants, but their actions reflect broader discriminatory policies against Muslims." Underlying these events is a complex history of migration, citizenship, and identity in eastern India. For decades, millions of people have migrated from the impoverished districts of West Bengal and Assam to other Indian states, seeking better livelihoods. Many of these migrants are Bengali-speaking Muslims, who have long faced suspicion and discrimination, both from authorities and segments of the public. The roots of this suspicion lie in the subcontinent's partition, the Bangladesh Liberation War, and the porous borders that have long existed between India, Bangladesh, and the Indian state of Assam. The controversy has been further inflamed by the legacy of the National Register of Citizens, NRC, and the Citizenship Amendment Act, CAA. The NRC, implemented in Assam, aimed to identify undocumented immigrants, but its process was fraught with controversy, resulting in the exclusion of many Bengali-origin people, both Hindus and Muslims. The CAA, passed in 2019, sought to provide a path to citizenship for non-Muslim minorities from Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, but specifically excluded Muslims, fueling accusations of religious discrimination and undermining the secular foundation of Indian citizenship. Now, as state-level authorities in BJP-ruled regions conduct anti-illegal immigration drives, many Bengali-speaking Muslims find themselves under a cloud of suspicion. The process is often opaque. Detainees are sometimes given little time to prove their citizenship. Documentation is frequently questioned or dismissed, and the burden of proof falls heavily on the accused. Even when individuals produce valid Indian identification, such as Aadhaar cards, voter IDs, or ration cards, these are not always accepted as definitive evidence of citizenship. Critics argue that these detentions and expulsions are not merely bureaucratic errors or isolated excesses. Rather, they reflect a broader trend of profiling and discrimination, particularly against Muslims. Human rights groups point to the timing of these actions, often preceding state elections or occurring in regions with heightened communal tension, as evidence that they may be politically motivated. The aim, according to some observers, is to project a tough stance on illegal immigration, rallying certain segments of the electorate while marginalizing vulnerable minorities. The political fallout has been swift and severe, especially in West Bengal. The Trinamool Congress, TMC, which governs the state, has accused the BJP of targeting Bengali-speaking migrants under the guise of national security. Protests have erupted in Kolkata and other cities, with demonstrators demanding an end to what they see as arbitrary and discriminatory crackdowns. The TMC has called for urgent parliamentary discussions, warning that the expulsions threaten not only the rights of individuals, but also the fabric of Indian federalism and the principle of free movement for citizens within the country. The situation has also rekindled debates over Bengali identity politics. For many in West Bengal, the issue is not just about religion, but about the right to live and work anywhere in India without fear of harassment or expulsion. The TMC has sought to leverage the issue ahead of the 2026 West Bengal Assembly elections, presenting itself as the defender of Bengali-speaking people, regardless of faith. In doing so, it hopes to galvanize support among both Hindus and Muslims who feel threatened by the current wave of detentions. Meanwhile, in the affected states, the BJP and its allies insist that their actions are motivated solely by the need to uphold national security and the rule of law. They deny any targeting of particular communities, maintaining that only undocumented foreigners are subject to investigation or expulsion. Yet, the lack of transparency, the absence of official data, and the recurring reports of Indian citizens being caught up in these sweeps suggest a deeper problem, one that challenges the very notion of equal citizenship and due process. For the migrants themselves, life has become increasingly precarious. Many are reluctant to travel for work, fearing arrest or deportation. Families are separated, livelihoods disrupted, and a climate of distrust prevails. The psychological impact is profound, as people who have spent their lives in India, sometimes for generations, find their citizenship and belonging called into question. Stories emerge of children taken from schools, workers pulled from job sites, and entire communities living in fear. Legal experts warn that these actions may violate not only Indian law, but also international human rights conventions to which India is a party. The Indian Constitution guarantees equality before the law and the right to reside and move freely throughout the territory of India. To expel citizens on the basis of language, religion, or ethnicity undermines these protections and sets a dangerous precedent. Civil society organizations, journalists, and advocates continue to monitor the situation closely. They call for independent investigations, judicial oversight, and the establishment of clear, fair procedures for verifying citizenship. Many urge the government to release comprehensive data on detentions and deportations to ensure transparency and accountability. At the same time, the episode has sparked a broader national conversation about migration, belonging, and the rights of minorities. India's long history of internal migration has been a source of both economic dynamism and social tension. The challenge now is to reconcile legitimate concerns about undocumented immigration with the imperative to protect the rights and dignity of all citizens. In the coming months, as political parties vie for power and public attention, the fate of Bengali-speaking Muslim migrants will remain a potent and polarizing issue. It will test not only the resilience of India's democratic institutions, but also the nation's commitment to justice, inclusivity, and the rule of law. The choices made now will reverberate for years to come, shaping the lives of millions and the character of the Republic itself.